Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be our preview of the Celtic against Hibs Scottish Cup quarter-final game on Sunday. Game will be live on Premier Sports 1. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock on Sunday, with Celtic lucky enough to have a home tie in this quarter-final at Celtic Park. And I think that home advantage is going to be important in Celtic winning the game and getting into the semi-final and powering on to treble number 9 in Celtic's history. In today's video, we're going to have a wee look at the predicted lineup. We look at the predicted score, some stats for recent Celtic against Hibs matches, the general stats of wins and losses and draws between Celtic and Hibs over the years and in the Cup. And also just touching on a couple of wee bits of other news relating to the VAR review show that Willie Collum does once a month, with 3 of the reviewed decisions involving decisions for and against Celtic in the last month or so. Brendan Rodgers, in his press conference today, said he and the team were looking forward to the Sunday Cup quarter-final against Hibs, that they had been able to focus 150%, that's what he said, on the Hibs match, and unlike the last game we had against them, which ended in that rather controversial 2-1 defeat at Easter Road 2 weeks ago, Rodgers was saying that Celtic haven't had any European matches to recover from, and the focus has been entirely on beating Hibs on Sunday in the quarter-final. No other big news from the press conference other than Liam Scales suffered a cheekbone injury in the game against St Mirren and is away for x-rays and scans. Didn't appear that Rodgers was aware of the results of that scan, and so was unable to give any kind of recovery period other than to say that Scales was not going to be in the squad for Sunday. No mention of James Forrest, but Rodgers said that Paulo Bernardo will be out for this match, the Rangers match, and is expected back for the match after the next international break towards the end of March. On the basis of Brendan Rodgers' press conference, updating on fitness and availability, and on the basis of the last few Celtic games, my predicted lineup is going to be Kasper Schmeichel in goals, Alistair Johnston at right back, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty in the middle, Jeffrey Sloop carrying on at left back. In midfield, Callum McGregor, who had a full training session on Friday, partnered by Rio Hatate and Arne Engels. Out wide on the right, Kuhn, out wide on the left, Jota, and through the middle, Dyson Maeda. I think there is a bit of a temptation to start Ida in the middle with Maeda out on the left, and there's also a wee bit of a temptation to start with Yang, who came on to such great effect against St Mirren, starting him on the right instead of Kuhn, or even potentially using Yang on the left, Kuhn on the right, and Maeda through the middle. And so I do think Brendan Rodgers does have quite a number of different options, but I think we'll go for up front Kuhn, Maeda, and Jota to take on Hibs, get a good start, and get the well-deserved win and revenge for that disappointing, controversial 2-1 defeat on the 22nd of February. In terms of predicted score, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Celtic. I think the key certainly is Celtic getting on top nice and early, getting the crowd behind them, putting the pressure on Hibs, making them come out and have to counter-attack. I think that will open up big spaces in the Hibs defence and Hibs midfield as they try to push forward for a goal. I think their tactics will be to try and frustrate Celtic, um, block out the defence, and try and use the pace of Boyle and the strength of Bowie, and trying to get some of their midfielders through to support the attack, has worked well for them a couple of weeks ago at Easter Road in that 2-1 win. However, I think this time Celtic will be much more better prepared. I think the midfield three will take control and nullify any control Hibs try to get in midfield. And I think the extra pace of Maeda through the middle and the trickery of Jota and Kuhn and Yang out wide will see Celtic through to a victory. Celtic are unbeaten at Celtic Park against Hibs in the last 20 games. Last time Hibs beat Celtic was 2-1 in January 2010. Last time Hibs beat Celtic in the Scottish Cup was a 4-3 win for them at Easter Road back in March 1986. So we're talking almost 40 years since Hibs have beaten Celtic in the Scottish Cup. Looking at overall records of Celtic against Hibs, Celtic have 47 wins, 17 draws, and 10 defeats. And at Celtic Park alone, 25 wins for Celtic, 6 draws, and 2 defeats in games against Hibs at Celtic Park. And of course, this season, Celtic have beaten Hibs 3-1 in the League Cup at Celtic Park, 3-0 in December at Celtic Park in the league. And of course, we had a 2-0 win at Easter Road early in the season in August. And then that disappointing, controversial 2-1 defeat on the 22nd of February a couple of weeks ago. And final wee bit of interesting stats. Hibs have not beaten Celtic twice in the same season since 92-93, and so it's over 30 years since Celtic have had 2 defeats in the same season against Hibs, and I don't see that happening again on Sunday. And as I said earlier, I think a 3-1 victory for Celtic is on the cards, especially if we get off to a good start. Final wee bit of news. There were 3 Celtic decisions reviewed on the VAR show with Willie Collum. And the most significant of which probably was Collum stating categorically that Muir, the VAR referee for the Celtic Hibs match, was totally incorrect to overrule the Dyson Maeda goal for Alistair Johnson having not kept the ball in play. Willie Collum quite clearly saying that the evidence wasn't 100% convincing, that the on-pitch officials, primarily the assistant referee, had stated clearly this was a goal, and so the evidence to overrule the goal had to be overwhelming. And of course, as there was no goal line technology, no camera running along the goal line, along the byline, it's impossible to tell whether the ball was or was in or was out. And the best person to adjudicate that was the assistant referee, looking right along the byline, and he kept his flag down, indicating to the referee that the ball had remained in play. And the 18-yard line camera, of course, foreshortens the view and distorts the evidence. And for that reason, the 18-yard line camera, which is what Alan Muir used to decide the ball was out, was completely unreliable. And as was shown on Sky Sports on the Sunday show, shooting a ball sitting on the line from the 18-yard line, the ball looked fully out. However, when it was shot along the byline, the ball was in play. And so for that reason, Willie Collum quite rightly said Alan Muir made a serious error, and it's no coincidence that Muir has not been allowed back on VAR duty since that time. No mention of any longer term penalty for Muir, but I wouldn't be too surprised personally. I know some people might be sceptical of this. I wouldn't be too surprised if Muir loses his VAR job, as there has been precedent for that sort of thing with officials on VAR for UEFA and on the English Premier League as well in the past. Also, Willie Collum confirmed that the penalty kick given when Austin Trusty was pulled down by Silla in the box in the Dundee match was correctly changed to a penalty by VAR. The evidence was very clear that there was a wee bit of pushing and shoving and holding to start with, but then as the ball went into the air, Silla turned his back to the ball and concentrated on pulling Austin Trusty down. Very clear penalty, and VAR decision was upheld. And the final one, not too surprisingly, was the Alistair Johnston tackle in the box in the St Mirren match when the goal score was at 3-2. At the time, the match official and VAR official said that Johnson had kicked the ball before he caught the St Mirren attacker. VAR did have a look at it, upheld the referee's decision, and certainly Alistair Johnston did get a good touch on the ball. However, in the opinion of Willie Collum and the opinion of the key match incident panel, there wasn't enough contact on the ball to excuse Alistair Johnston following through and catching the St Mirren attacker on the foot and ankle. And as I said myself at the time in the review video I did just after that game, I think had that been given as a penalty, I wouldn't have had any squabbles. However, there is some confusion as to how much of a touch on the ball is required or not required for it to be a penalty or not a penalty. And there does seem to be quite a bit of subjectivity rather than objectivity. And again, the way that Willie Collum explained it, it sounded like it's a subjective opinion in the eyes of the referee and the VAR official. They thought there was enough contact on the ball. On the opinion of several other people, including Willie Collum himself, he doesn't think there's enough contact on the ball. And so it seems to be one of these subjective rather than objective decisions. Either way, the match referee and the VAR referee didn't give us a penalty, and Celtic may well have got away with a penalty kick not being awarded against them in that game. Hopefully, the game against Hibs on Sunday in the quarter-final of the Cup, there won't be any controversy, any VAR overrules that are wrong, and hopefully VAR can keep in the background and not be required to change or overrule any refereeing decisions. And hopefully Celtic can keep themselves on side better than they did in the match at Easter Road a couple of weeks ago. No other significant news cropping up on the Celtic information sites, fan sites, and the other sports sites as of early Saturday morning. And so, as we finish, just a wee polite suggestion, encouragement. If you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to that. Subscribe. Taking the subscriber numbers past 1,200. If you do have friends, family, other people that are Celtic fans or football fans, do pass on details of the channel to them as well to see if they want to subscribe. Do feel free to pop your own comments into the comment section regarding your own predicted lineup and score, etc. And don't forget to click the like button if you have liked the video or liked the channel. We'll be doing a post-match review video of the Celtic Hibs match, either late Sunday evening or more likely early Monday morning. And so until that post-match review video, goodbye. Good luck Celtic in your cup match against Hibs on Sunday, and hail, hail.